Can you guys hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Well, hello, 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 everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? I was reading in the comments that there was no sound. So you guys didn't hear none of that music? How's everybody doing tonight? It's Friday night. Just want to make sure that you can hear me. Before we get started, I want everybody to do a thumbs up, flowers, drinks, because we are going to celebrate somebody's special day today. It's a special day for a channel member today. All right. So I just want to make sure that everybody can hear me. Can everybody hear me? All right. So today is channel members Elaine Parker's birthday. So I want to see birthday cakes. I want to see celebrations in the chat. Thumbs up, flowers, drinks. It's a celebration. And we're going to sing happy birthday. Are you guys ready? Because we're going to sing happy birthday. I don't see enough birthday cake in the chat. I need to see birthday cakes in the chat. Is Elaine Parker in the chat? Is she in the chat? Is Elaine here? Because I know it's late. I know it is so late in the UK. I know it is. Okay, you guys ready? Hi, hi, VS Speaks. How are you doing? It's good to see you, girlfriend. All right, you guys ready? We're gonna go sing. Let me get my singing voice ready. There you are. I see you, Elaine. I see you. Okay. Awesome. All right, guys. One, by the time I count to three, we're all going to sing happy birthday. Okay. One, two, three. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Miss Elaine from the UK. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Happy birthday, Elaine. I hope that you had a wonderful, blessed day today. And thank you for staying up late with the fam, right? She's staying up late and celebrating her birthday with the fam, the Success Squad, right? Because we are all family. So, again, happy birthday, Miss Elaine from the UK. Happy birthday. All right. Miss Elaine, do you want to share your age with us? I mean, some people do, some people don't. Oh, that's good. So you had a lovely day today? Awesome. So Elaine had a lovely day today. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. And many more birthdays to come. Okay. So tonight, we're going to do a toast. Tonight, I'm not doing Heineken tonight. Um, I'm doing like a real old school um, adult beverage tonight. It's old school. I don't know how many of you guys even have heard of this, but I'm actually drinking some private stock tonight. A friend of mine found it um, on the military base. So she was like, Special K Thoughts, remember when we were in the military, we used to drink private stock together? And I was like, girl, please. And she actually found it. So that's what I'm drinking tonight. So let me know what you guys are drinking, what adult beverage that you have. Um, so make sure that you got your adult beverage, make sure that you got your food, because you guys know how we do on Friday nights on Success Talk. We talk about our faves, Harry and Meghan. Okay, that's what we do. So again, happy birthday, Missy Lane, and thank you for celebrating part of your birthday with us because you didn't have to. I'm pretty sure there were a lot of other things that you could have done. Well, actually, I'm pretty sure you could be asleep right now, right, Missy Lane? You actually could be asleep right now. All right, Black Queen. Awesome. Thank you so much for the donation. And Black Queen says, Happy Veterans Day to you, my fellow veterans. Thank you. And all the veterans for your selfless dedication and sacrifices. Yes, yes, yes. Today is a important day to date. It is Veterans Day. So, Special K Thoughts, I say Happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans. And I also want to thank all of you who have been sending me DMs um, uh, wishing me a happy Veterans Day. So thank you. And thank you again, Black Queen. Thank you again. All right, so I'm gonna go in the chat real quick and see what you guys are doing, see what you guys are drinking, see how you guys are feeling. Um, let's see here. Success Squad, you guys know how we do. We are a global international squad. We are wide on all sides of the globe, right? We speak multi languages, multi languages. Yes, we do. Yes, hello, family. Hello, family. Oh, okay, Miss Parker. Okay, so you are 75. Well, awesome. You are celebrating a monumental birthday. So God bless you. Let's see here. How are you doing, Susie Q? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Miss Jones says Elaine Parker, 75 and wise. All that wisdom. I want to thank all of our channel members who are with us tonight. We appreciate your support. I see you guys in the channel. Actually, I should say in the chat. I want to thank those of you who are listening who are not in the chat. If you are not a subscriber to Megan, Duchess of Advocacy World Podcast, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And while you're at it, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button. Okay? Okay. Oh, yes, yes. It's nice to see that all the squaddies are celebrating Missy Lane Parker's birthday. And if there are any squaddies that are in the chat that are veterans, please let me know so I can give you your flowers. Let's see, Sherry Ware. How you doing, Sherry? Is drinking ginger tea, having digestive issues, no alcohol for me. Awesome. I hope you get better. Let's see. Okay. Emma is drinking lemon iced tea. Okay. I see that we have some lightweights in the house tonight. Another lightweight. Elita says that she is drinking Pepsi. All right. Marshar says, Happy Veterans Day to all who defend democracy. Absolutely. Absolutely. Mrs. S, thank you so much for the donation. We appreciate it. And Mrs. S says, Happy Veterans Day, Special K. Thank you for your service. You're absolutely welcome. Let's see what else you guys talking about up in this chat. Okay. Maria says that she is drinking coconut water. What is up with all these lightweights in the chat? What's going on with you guys tonight? I'm just kidding. How are you doing, Maria? I hope you're having a wonderful evening. Let's see. Yes, indeed. Sandra says, Happy Veterans Day. Happy Veterans Day to all. Thank you, Maria. Appreciate it. Let's see. I forgot about Remembrance Day. What's interesting, at least for me, Special K thoughts, the longer that our faves are away from that toxic family and not doing any type of royal duties for that family, you forget about a lot of the royal activities that they were involved in prior. And the reason why you forget is because we were only aware of those royal activities because Harry and Meghan were doing them. Okay. But I've been on social media, I'm always on social media, but I've noticed that, again, a lot of the activities that Harry and Meghan were doing while they were a part of the royal family, a lot of those royal activities or, you know, uh, royal appearances don't get the global attention that they used to get because it's not Harry and Meghan doing them anymore, right? I'm pretty sure Remembrance Day is huge in the UK. I'm pretty sure it is, and it should be. But I'm not too sure that it is globally recognized the way Veterans Day is. Now, I could be wrong. That could be my American ego, right? It could be my American ego thinking this. But oh, Missy Lay Parker, thank you for the donation. But girl, you didn't have to give us a donation. It is your birthday. Okay, I see somebody who's drinking a real adult beverage with me. Thank you, Sheila. You saved the fam tonight because I'm thinking I'm dealing with a lot of lightweights here in the chat. But Sheila, she's drinking Chardonnay. So thank you. And Sheila, let's go ahead and have a toast. Let's toast Missy Lane's birthday. And I see I got somebody else. I go, okay, here we go. Now you guys are stepping up. You're stepping up your game. Okay, Marshar is drinking Kentucky bourbon baby. Awesome. Awesome. All right, all right, all right. I got somebody in here drinking sugar-free Coke. How are you doing, Miss Brenda? Yes, indeed. Happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans. Okay, we got another one. Miss Susie Q, she is drinking Modelo. I've never had Modelo. I want to try it because, I love the commercials, right? I love the commercials, but I do want to try it. Um, for some reason, I just have a feeling I'm not going to like it too much. I don't know why. All right, so let's go ahead. Is there anybody in the chat who is a veteran? Anybody in the chat who is a veteran? I don't want to miss anybody. Let's see. Anybody in the chat who is a veteran? Okay. H Knight, channel member. Army. Okay, I believe. Are you in the Army National Guard? If I'm not mistaken. Let's see. Anybody else? Anybody have any family members who have served in the military? Okay, Missy Lane says that her son served in Iraq. Awesome. Let's see. Am I missing anybody? No, I am. It's not really easy reading everybody's comments in the chat. All right. Thank you so much for the donation, Miss Sharon. Are you from Cali? Thank you, thank you, thank you. And she says, Happy Veterans Day to you and all the other veterans out there. Happy birthday to Elaine Parker. Yes, indeed. Hello, 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 everybody. Okay, Miss Veronica says that her husband and sons are Marines and served in Iraq and Afghanistan. God bless you and your family. Miss Sherry Ware, I believe that you are a veteran, right? Didn't you serve in the military? All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and get this party started. We're going to go ahead and get this chat going, this Success Talk family chat. Um, but keep on letting me know if you've got any family members that are veterans or, even if somebody is currently serving, that's fine. Because they're going to be a veteran later on in life anyway, right? So, yes, that's what I thought, Sherry. I thought you were an Army veteran. So, happy Veterans Day to you. All right. Happy Veterans Day to everybody. Happy Veterans Day to all of the families of veterans and to all of the families that currently have family members that are serving. Okay. All right. I love reading these stories. So, is it Cameron? Many generations in my family, my brother was 7 years in Afghanistan. He was a medic. He was there when Harry was there. Oh, that's awesome. Awesome. Medics, they see a lot. They do a lot and they see a lot. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. Again, happy birthday, Miss Elaine Parker. Monumental birthday. Go ahead and add this slide here. So this is Success Talk. And the name of this live podcast tonight, we entitled it The Montecito Couple. Because that's what Harry and Meghan are. They are the Montecito couple, representing Montecito very well, aren't they? All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about archetypes. I'm pretty sure everybody in the chat and everybody who's listening who's not in the chat listened to archetypes this past Tuesday. Don't you guys just love Tuesdays? I look so much forward to Tuesdays. I mean, I I love Tuesdays. I'm gonna be so sad when archetypes is finished. But archetypes, again, of course, Megan, she hit it out the box. Uh, this episode right here was entitled To Be or Not to Be. That's a clever title, by the way. Don't you think? To be or not to be. And I thought that title was awesome. And, this episode explored the origin and the plague of the B word, right? And its cousin difficult and how these terms, are often wrongly applied to strong minded women, especially women in business and in deep, meaningful conversations with trailblazers. I kind of went ahead there. I was talking a little too fast, but basically, this episode was about the origin and the plague of the B word, right? And its cousin, difficult, and how these terms are often wrongly applied to strong minded women, especially women in business, which is true, especially women in business or just, women who are in authority, right? Women who are in business, women who are in authority, women who are successful in whatever capacity, right? Women who are in leadership positions. Um, but it can also apply to a woman who is working at the grocery store, or a woman who's a customer, a woman who is a mother who's just defending her child, right? So, that term, the B word, can be applied to any woman from all different walks of life. But I get it when they say, especially women in business, or especially women who are in some type of authority or leadership position. Okay, so the women that were a part of this Archetypes podcast were Victoria Jackson, Melody Hobson. We all love Melody, don't we? And Robin Thede. I was so happy. I was so happy to see Robin Thede. So happy. Um, and it just goes to show that Megan has definitely expanded um, her choices regarding who she's going to invite on her podcast. And also who she knows, right? I mean, I had no idea that Megan knew who Robin Thede was. And what we'll discuss later on the podcast is we obviously had no idea that they both went to Northwestern University at the same damn time. Awesome. All right. So do. During the podcast, Megan talked about how Jeopardy was her favorite TV show as a kid growing up. She said that she sat in front of Jeopardy with her dinner TV tray, and she used to watch Jeopardy. I thought that was awesome that Megan talked about that, and I'm pretty sure many people in the Success Squad were aware that Jeopardy was her favorite TV show as a kid growing up. But you know what's awesome about Jeopardy, right? Is that they always, well, I shouldn't say always, but it just seems like on the regular they're asking a question about Megan, right? Like on an episode, it seems like quarterly, if I'm not mistaken, it seems like there's always a question about Megan. Like, who is the Duchess of Success? Right? But anyway, I thought it was cool that she talked about that. I love it when Megan talks about different moments in her life as a kid growing up in California. I love it because it definitely makes her human, right? It makes her more human. Um, and it also, it's relatable in the sense that a lot of us growing up Hello? Can you guys hear me now?
Hello? Oh Lord, it's gonna be one of them nights. I think what's going on is I think there's something going on with StreamYard, and that's why the sound went out. I hope that doesn't happen again. I am so sorry. So, what were we talking about? Okay, I see we've got the Jeopardy screen, right? We were talking about Robin Thede and Megan, right? Going to school together at Northwestern University. And they were actually attending Northwestern University at the same damn time, right? Okay, so this screen right here is Robin Thede. She is a comedian. How many people in the chat know who Robin Thede is? I mean, she is awesome. She is so funny. Make sure that you give me a thumbs up so that I know that you can hear me. Okay. Like I said, I think the main issue, what's going on, I think it's StreamYard. Yeah, Special K. Yeah, Special K is blaming StreamYard. But like I was saying, Robin Thede, she was one of the guests, and Megan had her featured her first. Those of you who are not aware of Robin Thede, she is a comedian. She is funny. She is very, very talented. She's a writer. She's a producer. Um, she has produced like her own TV shows. I think one time she was actually a TV host on BET, but I don't think that lasted too long. Okay, I don't think it lasted too long. But I thought it was so funny when Robin said that that she was a wildcat, right? Her and Megan, they went to Northwestern University together, and their mascot must have was Wildcat, right? And Robin was saying that she was a wildcat, and Megan was like, I was more so like a mild cat. Let's be honest. So I thought that was so funny. Um, but I don't know if I was clear before my sound went out. But this episode, to be or not to be, it's about the B word, right? And I'm gonna say the word bitch, right? Because I've said that word plenty of times on this live podcast before. So archetypes, the episode was about the word bitch and how many women who are independent, women who are in a position of authority, women who are in leadership roles, women who are in business, um, you know, are called that word. But like I was saying earlier before, any woman, in my opinion, who expresses um, something that people don't like, or who um, is asking for something that they want, can be called a bitch, right? Um, a woman who's upset, but who has the right to be upset because an injustice was done to them, right? Or I should say, an injustice was done to them, um, can be called a bitch. Oh, she's just being a bitch. She's being difficult. She's being a bitch. So you guys can still hear me, right? All right. So that's basically what this episode was about. And Robin Thede, and I love the way Megan started off her podcast. She started off her podcast first of all letting us know that she can't stand that word bitch, right? She doesn't like that word at all. Okay, doesn't like it at all. It makes the hairs at the back of her neck stand up, right? I love the fact that Megan brought on somebody who does not mind that word at all. I loved it because, again, she's thinking outside of the box. She's being inclusive. Okay. She's saying, I can't stand that word, but she brought somebody on her podcast who has no problems with that word, right? So I thought that was awesome. I thought that was awesome that Megan started off her podcast like that. Okay, I'm seeing in the chat that somebody's saying that they have no sound. So you guys can't hear me? Because it's showing that I have sound. So give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, because I don't want to just be talking. You guys can't hear me. So okay. Thank you, VS Speaks Royally. So, I like I was saying, I love the fact that Megan made it clear that she can't stand the word bitch, but she brought somebody on who has no problems saying the word bitch. Okay. So I thought that was awesome. Like we said during the last live podcast, Megan is a forward thinker. It's about inclusive, right? She's being inclusive. She's inviting people that have different points of view. And I love that about her. And I love that about this podcast. Um, but Robin Thede, okay, she started off with Robin Thede, who has no problems with the word bitch. She has no problems saying that word or using that word, right? So Robin, she said, and I'm quoting here, now if someone calls me that, I don't really care. I really don't. Okay, she starts off, bam, letting us know her feelings about that word. And, Robin said, like, I could be offended, but I'm not like her to be my core. But she was saying when she was 25 years old, that if somebody called her a bitch, then, she probably would have been offended. But her 42-year-old self here in the present is no longer offended, right? And she explains herself. She explains herself in regards to why her 42-year-old self is no longer offended. She's saying that, and I thought this was so clever, and I thought she was spot on when she said this. She was saying, oh, it's just a word, okay? That word doesn't mean anything because whoever's saying it, I'm just like, you don't know how to use your words. See, that comes with wisdom. Okay. That comes with wisdom. That comes from living life. She had lived some life from her 25-year-old self to her 42-year-old self. She had gone through some things. She had experienced some things. She had observed some things. Okay. And probably working in and out, working within Hollywood, she had seen some things and experienced some things. And she realized that, hey, it's like saying when you use that word, it's like saying you just don't know how to use your words. You just resorted to the easiest slur. Now, this is Robin Thede saying this. You just resorted to the easiest slur that you could find because you're not smart enough to articulate whatever else you are trying to say. Spot on, Mrs. Robin Thede, or Miss Robin Thede. I'm not too sure if she's married. I think she's actually married. Um, but spot on. When somebody calls you a bitch out of anger, right? It's because they can't articulate. They're not smart enough to articulate whatever else it is that they're trying to say. You guys probably hear my little puppy in the background. Sorry about that. But I thought she was spot on. Archetypes. I know squatties are really listening to these conversations, but the reason why archetypes is so successful is because people are really listening to these conversations that Megan is having with her guest. Okay. And I thought that part right there, Robin Thede was spot on. Okay. So they went on to say why Robin Thede thinks that the word bitch, she didn't necessarily say it was a positive word, but she was basically saying how they've taken the power out of that word, right? And this is a quote from Robin that says, it's still just used to describe a woman who goes after what she wants. Okay. For Robin Thede, she feels that the word bitch is used to describe a woman who goes after what she wants, who has an opinion that's different from a man's, who turns you down at the club. Now, how many of us have gone through that? Right, back in the day, back in our clubbing days, and there might be some of you guys in the chat right now who are still in your clubbing days, right? Asked to buy you a drink or whatever the case may be, and you're like, no, that's okay, I got it. And they look at you and they're probably thinking, bitch, like bitch, please. But oh, I just lost my part. But again, I thought Robin Thede was on it, and she went on to say that she views the word in regards to many different things that may appear positive, right? She's saying, bitch, it's like she's saying I call my girlfriends bitch all the time. Like, hey bitch, you look good. Um, hey bitch, this is the woman that's got it going on. She's in charge. She's saying that for her, it's like taking the power out of the word, right? And those of you in the chat, how many of you in the chat agree with Robin? How many of you in the chat um, use that word? Okay. I have special K thoughts. Yes, every once in a while I do use that word, but I'm very careful with who I'm with or who I'm around, I should say, when I use that word, right? Because I may have somebody like Megan in my circle who can't stand that word and who's offended by that word, right? So if there's somebody like Megan in my circle who feels that way, I'm not going to use that word, okay? But if I'm around somebody else who thinks the way Robin Thede thinks, then yeah, I'm going to use that word, okay? Um, but I'm looking in the chat to see, and I see that there are some of you who just absolutely would not use that word. Okay. Yes, and it's true. Educate You Too says words have power, and they do. They really, really do. Words do have power. And that's why there's always a controversy, right, around certain words where people will use that word, but they say the reason why they're using that word is because they're taking the power out of that word, right? I mean, we see that right now with Prince Harry, right? He's taking the word spare and he's owning that word. He's taking the power out of that word. So I don't know if, of course, spare and bitch may not, it's not necessarily apple and oranges, or maybe some would view it as apple and oranges, but it's I'm just using that as an example. But I'm looking in the chat, looking at some comments. Let's see. Okay, so H9 says, I use the word when I feel it's called for, but I don't see it as a positive word. I can understand that. And Faith says, I don't use that word. Angela says, I don't use that word. Yeah, there's quite a few of you in the chat who feel that the word it's not a good word to use at all. It's awfully hard to clean up that word. It's a dirty word to call women. I mean, it is. I mean, it is. I mean, usually when I use that word, I'm not using that word in a loving way. I got to be honest with myself, right? Usually when I use that word, I'm not using it in a lovely way. If I use that word, it's really among a small circle of friends who understand where I'm coming from, right? I mean, it's a small circle of friends who understand what I mean and where I'm coming from. Okay, again, Mr. Loris. I don't use that word or the N word because I can express myself without using them. Absolutely. Absolutely. So I see a lot of you in the chat agree with Megan. You would not use that word. Okay, Miss Brenda says, I don't use that word. Okay. All right. So it looks like many of you in the chat just don't use that word. That's awesome. Well, you know what? Among a small circle of friends, Special K Thoughts does use that word. I use that word. But to be honest, usually when I use that word, I'm using it out of anger, right? I'm using it out of anger. Um, but I thought it was cool that Megan had Robin Thede on there, who presented a different point of view. And that's what makes Archetypes such a good podcast, because she is showing that not all of us think the same way. Not all of us women have the same points of view, right? We're not all monolithic. Okay. I mean, there's differences between us, there are differences among us. And that's why I thought it was very important that she had Robin Thede on there. And, Robin Thede, in my opinion, she was very articulate for, reasons why she has no problems using the word bitch. But at the end of the day, we all know why a woman is called a bitch. And the main reason why women are called a bitch is because they're perceived as being difficult in whatever situation it is. It could be somebody, like I said, somebody who's complaining at McDonald's because they got the wrong order. Okay. If a woman goes inside McDonald's and complains that she got the wrong order, most people, well, I shouldn't say most people, but it's more than likely she's going to be referred to as a bitch than if a man came into McDonald's and complained that he got the wrong order. Okay. So that's basically what this is all. That's basically what this is all about, in my opinion. But that was a good look. That was a good look in regards to Robin Thede. All right. So while Robin and Megan were talking about the word bitch that a lot of you guys in the chat don't use. They were, of course, talking about there are different situations, horrific situations, where women are called that name. And they were saying we're going to hear it in violent situations. Of course we are. God forbid we're going to hear it, in certain situations, not being used positively. We're going to hear it in the trolling comments. Then we have to offset that just numbers. This is Robin Thede. I need to bring clarity to this. This is Robin Thede continuing to explain why she uses the word bitch, because she's trying to take the power out of it, right? So while their conversation went on, she was explaining how, yes, we are going to hear that word in violent situations. Okay. We're going to often see that word in trolling comments. Okay. Um, and she was saying that in the trolling comments and in the different violent situations, it's like there's so many different situations where women are called bitch, right? And it happens too often where women are called bitch or women are referred to as bitches, right? I mean, it's almost like it's mainstreamed in a way. What do you guys think about that? I mean, to me, it's almost like that word is mainstreamed in a way. Okay. I could have swore I was watching just regular TV, like at 6 o'clock during the day, well, late afternoon, and somebody called somebody a bitch, and I'm just like, damn, really? But like I was saying, Robin and Megan were continuing this conversation. Robin was continuing to explain why she uses that word. She's saying that women are often called bitch, that you often see it on social media in comments, like it's everywhere. And what she's saying is we need to offset it. And I love that women have used this phrase, bad bitch, as a positive. Okay. Again, she does see it as a positive. Okay. And she's saying, like you're a bad bitch, like, you look amazing, right? You're a bad bitch. You look amazing. You've got a great job. You're doing your thing, And so for me, like, I think about Lizzo. Oh, she says it, right? How many in the chat listen to Lizzo? Okay. I love Lizzo too. Okay. I love her. I love her. I love her. Right. And in one of Lizzo's songs, she does say it. She says, bitch o'clock. Right. And and that goes back to what I was saying, how that word is getting mainstreamed. It really is. It's I wouldn't even say that it's getting mainstream. I would say that that word is mainstream. It is a mainstream word that's getting used, and it's a part of American culture, or just the culture period, right? So that's one of the reasons why Robin Thede was saying that, you know, we got to grab that word and take the power out of it. So I understood where she was coming from when she was talking about that. All right, next slide. All right. So again, big ups to Robin Thede. I thought that her point of view um, was spot on. I'm not saying that her point of view is right. I'm not saying that at all. But what I'm saying is that I do, me, Special K Thoughts, I do agree with what she was saying, and I understood where she was coming from. However, those who do not like that word, like Megan and many of you in the chat, I understand where you're coming from too. So that's what it's all about. It's about respecting differing point of views. Okay, so of course, Melody Hobson was on, which was awesome. We all love Melody, don't we? Don't we just love Miss Melody? You know, I'm not gonna call her the B word, but Melody, she's got it going on, doesn't she? She's been had it going on. I remember way back in the days, I used to watch Melody on Good Morning America. She was always so, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? So chirpy, so perky. And she always had this beautiful smile. And she lured you in and really made you listen to her when she was talking about finances. And I wish I had taken her advice, right? But it was always awesome to see, an African American face on Good Morning America. And I believe it was Good Morning America. It was awesome to see an African American female who can articulate um, business and finance and investing your money. Right. I used to look forward to watching her on TV. But it was awesome to see Megan have Melody on. Uh, and we all know that Melody is Megan's mentor. She's one of Megan's mentor. And we can only assume or guess who introduced the two women. I have a feeling that woman, her first name probably starts with O, right? Okay, so Melody Hobson, American businesswoman who is president and CEO of Arrow Investments and the chairwoman of Starbucks Corporation. I could use a Starbucks right now. She is the former chairwoman of DreamWorks Animation. All right. So, having stepped down after negotiating the acquisition of DreamWorks Animation by NBC Universal, she became the first African American woman to head the Economic Club of Chicago. She was also named the chair of the board of directors of Starbucks in 2021. Now, that part I didn't know, making her one of the highest profile corporate directors in the United States. Look at the caliber of people, of women that Megan surrounds herself with. Isn't that awesome? All right, so Melody was on this episode, and I thought her story was awesome, okay? And I'm talking about when she talked about her childhood growing up. Did you guys hear that part? You know, she was raised by a single mom. I think she said that there were six of them, right? And it sounded like that, you know, the family was poor, either poor or a working class family. And Melody's interest in money began based on her childhood experiences, right? And you guys heard the part about her teeth? She said, I think when she was 12 or 13, that she actually went to the dentist by herself. And the dentist told her she needed braces that were going to cost $2,500. And they came up with this payment plan. Listen, I thought that was awesome. Okay? Like, and the reason why I thought that was awesome was because the dentist obviously saw something in her, right? He saw something in her where he trusted her. He trusted that she was going to be able to pay for the braces because he went ahead and put the braces on her, right? Imagine that, $2,500. It basically came up with a payment plan with a 12, 13-year-old. So I thought that was awesome. Um, but it's awesome too to hear people like Melody Hobson's story because look how far they've come, right? To hear her story and to see how successful that she is now is awesome. And it just goes to show that if you want to be successful, that if you work hard enough and you do the right thing, you can be successful. Right? Right. All right. So, Melody Hobson, I'm pretty sure that the way she navigates through her world, that she's probably been called the B word. Now, she didn't necessarily say that, I don't think, on this podcast, but she did talk about the different experiences that she's had in the business world, which I thought was great. Um, because, when you see Melody, to me, she just comes across as somebody who is more than happy and more than willing to help you and to guide you as long as you don't waste her time. Right? You got to be a serious person if you're going to, you know, get guidance or be doing business with Melody. That's the type of person that she strikes me as. But so Melody was talking about, of course, her experiences in the business finance world. And I thought this quote by her, it's like when she said this, it made me pause. Right? It made me pause. Okay. So this is a beginning quote. So she says, so I use this line that I use a lot, which is from the book Out of War, which says, sometimes you have to crouch to conquer. And when she said that, I was like, what? Because, I was on my way to work. I was driving on my way to work when she said that. I'm like, huh? What do you mean you got to crouch to conquer? She's going to have to come with it. This is what I'm saying to myself in the car, right? I'm like, she's going to have to come with it because I don't understand that. What do you mean sometimes you got to crouch to conquer? Okay. And she goes on to say, and I tell people, I do believe sometimes you have to be small to be very big, but you are making the choice. And again, Special K Thoughts is like, pump the brakes. What is you talking about? Okay. And she says, someone's not making you small. You are. And I mean, at first, I really honestly didn't understand what she was talking about. And I had to turn the volume up a little bit in my car. Okay. So she goes on to tell her story about why she said this. She says, I see it in myself. Sometimes I modulate the example that I give. I was on board with someone for years and years and years and years ago. Okay. And the person, this person that she's talking about is a giant figure in some ways, or was in some ways. So she's talking about somebody who's very, very successful in business, right? She's talking about her experience that she had with somebody who's very successful in business, which equates to why she says, sometimes you have to crouch to conquer. So she goes on to talk about this person who's a giant, I guess, in the business world. She was saying that every time she would talk to this guy, right, she would see him backing up. And I'm like, huh? And she would say that every time she would talk to this guy, that he would back up. And she said by the end of their conversation, this dude was on the other side of the room. And she was saying that, he was literally backing up away from her throughout their conversation every time she would talk. And I'm just like, what? But she did. She said, yes, he would back up. Every time she would say something to him, he would back up. And by the end of their conversation, he would be way on the other side of the room. And, she said that at that time, during that time, it was very curious to her. Like, what is wrong with this guy? Like, this is the craziest thing ever. It's like, what's going on? Is my hair on fire? Are you just not telling me this or what? But after she had some time to think about it, right, she realized that, he is physically showing her that he is uncomfortable with her for whatever reason. Right. Now, can you imagine that? Look at Melody. Look at her. Why would you, as a man, be uncomfortable with Melody talking to you? Look at that face. Look at that smile. right? Like, why would you be so? Why would somebody who was a giant in the business world be uncomfortable with Melody talking to them? Why would they be backing up to so much to the point to where they're way on the other side of the room, right? But she thought that that was the craziest thing ever. But like she says, physically he is showing her that he's uncomfortable with her, right? So she goes on to say that she sees the same guy later on in New York, right? He's checking into a hotel, right? He's in the lobby and he's checking into a hotel. So she's like, okay, I really want to talk to this guy because I really want to get some advice from him. I really want to get some guidance from him, right? And she's like, I'm gonna try something different. Okay. So she goes on to tell the story. She goes on to tell the story that, she says hello and she starts whispering to him. She's like, hi, how are you? It's good to see you. And he goes on and he speaks to her and he lets her know that he's in New York for a couple of days because he's doing some business, this, that, and the other. So she goes on to speak to him, basically whispering. And basically, during the conversation, he invites her to sit down next to him, right? And she was just like, oh, okay. I guess it was my voice, right? I guess it was my voice that made him uncomfortable. But I thought when she told that story, I thought that was so interesting because it's like men use commanding voices all of the time, right? Success Squad. Have you ever heard a man whisper while he's talking? Okay, and I mean like somebody who's, you know, in a business background who may be at a meeting or just in conversation with somebody. Have you ever heard a man whisper while he's talking? Does that make any sense? But yet, she realized in order to make this man comfortable, she had to whisper. I thought that was so, what's the word I'm looking for? Not crazy, but it's just amazing to me how women have to we have to be like 50% of ourselves to make people comfortable, right? We can't be completely 100% of ourselves to make certain people comfortable in situations. Again, look at that face. Look at that face. What, what is it about Melody that would make somebody who is a giant in the business world back up all the way to the other side of the room? But then when she whispers to him, he invites her to sit down next to him. This is my take on it, right? I don't think it was so much so her voice, right? I don't. I think it was more so that at that time, right, when he saw her, he was intimidated by her. He was intimidated by a woman who was successful in the business world, who is confident, who is articulate, who is another word I'm looking for, who's independent, right? Somebody who's very knowledgeable, somebody who has awareness, somebody who is who stands up for herself, and somebody who knows what she's talking about. For whatever reasons, during that time, he was intimidated by her, and it had absolutely nothing to do with her voice. In my opinion, it absolutely had nothing to do with her voice. Right? I don't think it had anything to do with her voice. He was intimidated by her mere presence because he knew that she was a bad bitch. I'm just playing. I just said that to get some of y'all riled up in the chat. But you understand where I'm coming from. He was intimidated by her because he knew that that was Melody Hobson. He knew that she was confident, that she was very successful, very smart, very articulate, um, very knowledgeable in the business world. And I guess he knew at that time that he couldn't bullshit her, right? But when they saw each other in New York, and when she whispered to him, right? I don't think at that time he saw her as Melody Hobson, the very successful business mogul. I think he just saw her as somebody who, you know, is a colleague that for whatever reasons at that time made him feel comfortable. He just wasn't I don't think he saw her as Melody Hobson, the financial business guru. I think when she used that voice, he saw her as Melody Hobson, basically somebody who um, is not his equal because of because she was whispering to him. If you guys understand what I'm trying to say in the chat, when she used that tone of voice, I don't think he saw her as his equal. If that makes any sense, I think he saw her as a subordinate based on her tone of voice. That's just my opinion. What do you guys say in the chat? I just don't understand why. I don't understand just because a woman whispers, why would that make a man feel physically more comfortable? I just think when a woman whispers, a man of that caliber sees them as their subordinate. But when she uses her real voice, he's intimidated by her. That's the way I see it. But I love that she told that story. I thought that was such a great story that she told because there are many people, or I should say, many women, who basically do the same thing. Women who are in positions of authority, women who are in leadership roles. It's like we have to watch our tone of voice. But men don't. Men don't have to watch their tone of voice, but women do. And I thought that she gave a perfect example. I sure would love to know who that guy was, wouldn't you? I would love to know who was that dude that was scared of Melody Hobson's voice. Excuse me. It's like, who was he? Who was that guy? But I'm glad she shared that story. I am. I'm glad. I'm so glad that she shared that story because Megan can relate to that story, can't she? Megan can relate to that story. Didn't she say basically when she was a part of the royal family? Well, I don't think she said it, so I don't want to put no misinformation out there about her. But wasn't it said that she was asked to only perform 50% of herself? Wasn't she asked that? Wasn't she asked to only perform like 50% of herself? I mean, that is crazy. Just to make somebody else feel better or to make somebody else look better. Hey, only do 50% of you. Does that make any sense? Absolutely not. All right, next slide. All right. So Megan went on to say, right? She went on to say, so it's just the persona of the idea of it by standing in your authority can somehow feel uncomfortable or threatening to people to the point that I think as women we find these ways to, I don't know, show up as you say in a different way. Like by whispering up as you say in a different let me start that over. So it's just the persona of the idea of it by standing in your authority can somehow feel uncomfortable or threatening to people to the point that I think as women we find these ways to, I don't know, show up as you say in a different way, like by whispering almost brings them in or even on. I had the angry black woman episode with Issa Rae, and she talked about how she uses qualifiers like what she's saying isn't good enough, right? Absolutely. Spot on. Spot on. It's like women who are in positions of authority, right? For whatever reasons, it makes other people feel uncomfortable or they feel threatened by women who are in positions of authority. And it takes me back to Melody Hobson with the example that she gave. When she saw dude, right, at that, whatever that was, that gathering, and when she was talking to him and he was backing up because obviously her voice was physically making him feel uncomfortable, when she approached him in a different way, whispering, and then he invites her to sit down. That's what I'm saying. When she was whispering to him, he did not see her in a position of authority when she was whispering to him while they saw each other in the lobby at the hotel lobby in New York. But when they were in the other wherever they were at meeting, and she was talking to him, and he was backing up when she was using her regular real voice, and he was backing up, he saw her in a position of authority at that time. He saw somebody who was confident, somebody who was successful, somebody who was independent, somebody who was very smart, articulate, somebody who's all about her business. He saw her in a position of authority and it threatened him. It threatened him. So that's what I was trying to say. All right, next slide. Okay, and Melody was going on to say, and I thought this was interesting. I thought it was it was awesome, like what she said. Right? She was saying that she once had somebody say to her, you know, and I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people who can relate to this because this has been said to me one too many times, right? And to be honest, I don't like when people say it to me. And I've asked people, like, where does that come from? Like, why are you saying this to me? I don't understand where this comes from because at the end of the day, you don't know me, and this is the first time that we're meeting. So why would you say this to me? But here's a quote from Melody. I had once a person, tell me, you're very intimidating. And I said, will you choose? Well, you chose to be intimidated by me. Okay. I'm going to read that again because my little puppy was barking. But basically, Melody is saying that, she had somebody tell her that, you're very intimidating. And I said, well, you chose to be intimidated by me. Okay, how many people in the chat have been told that? That somebody that you're meeting for the first time, or just maybe that somebody that you've known for a while say, you're intimidating. You are an intimidating person. Okay. And you're just like, what are you talking about? Like, where the hell does that come from? But she goes on to say, you know what? I'm not a hater. I'm not a hater. I said to this person, that's you, not me. Okay. Which is a good reminder, right? It's like, dude, I'm just having a conversation with you. What are you talking about? I'm an intimidating person. Where is that coming from? That's you. That's not me. Okay. How many people in the chat have gone through that? Where you're just like, what are you talking about? What do you mean I'm an intimidating person? Me and you are two adults. We're having a conversation. What do you think I'm gonna do? Haul off and punch you in your mouth? Like, what? It's like, put your big girl panties on. Come on now. But I thought that was an awesome quote, right? That's you. You choose to be intimidated by me. That's not me. That's you. That's about you and your insecurities. Okay? That's what that's about. All right? Like, put your big girl panties on. Or put your big boy boxer shorts on. All right, I'm gonna go in the chat real quick and see what your guys' comments are about because I'm just rambling here. Let's see. Yes, still happy birthday, Elaine. All right, Miss Diane says sometimes people are afraid they might be discovered to not be as advertised, so they shy away to avoid being found out. Yeah, I can agree with that comment. Mhm. Okay, so Miss Sheila says when he saw in the New York lobby, and she chose to tone down, he felt that she knew and was in her place where he felt she belonged, he was comfortable with. Yeah, that's what I was saying. You're absolutely right. Right? You're absolutely right. When she toned that voice down, I believe that he saw her as a subordinate. He saw her as, oh, okay, she knows her place now. Right? She knows her place now. She's whispering. She's whispering. Okay, and that made him feel comfortable. Okay, so Miss Reba, how you doing? Reba says he saw her as submissive when she whispered, "It's pathetic how fragile men can be." Thank you, Miss Reba. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You think so? You think it was Warren Buffett? Hmm. Could be. Could be the mystery man. Let's see. Still reading your comments. See, Educate You Too says they labeled Diana Ross with the B word, so she dropped a whole album entitled The Boss. She said that she was in control of her money and her career. Yeah, that is so true. Absolutely. You know who I thought would have been another great guest on uh, Megan's Diva episode? Diana Ross. Yeah, Diana Ross. Because I think Diana Ross is like the original diva. I do. I think Diana, and I don't mean original as in disrespect to the other wonderful singers of her generation, but I'm just saying that I think Diana Ross really spearheaded the diva um, label because she was a crossover, right? She was a crossover from music to movies to fashion, model, and her whole persona, just diva. Like Diana Ross is like the ultimate diva, right? So I thought she would have been a great guest on there. Um, let's see. All right. So we're going to go ahead and go on to Victoria Jackson, who was on as well. To be honest, I had no idea who Victoria Jackson was. Uh, I've never heard of her cosmetics, but obviously she is a very successful entrepreneur in the business world. Okay, so for somebody to start off as a makeup artist and have the major success that she had, I mean, kudos to her, right? Kudos to her. So it was awesome to hear her story and how she's navigated through the business world with her cosmetics empire. My God, like, whoo, like listen to her story. I was just like, man, all these great um, American businesswomen. But Victoria Jackson, she's an American entrepreneur and she's a writer. And she ran her cosmetics business, Victoria Jackson Cosmetics, for many, many, many years. Right, and she was one of the first ones to do infomercials. Right, see, I had no idea. I was lost in the sauce on Victoria Jackson. But hearing her story, like I said, was awesome. Now, I don't really recall her saying too much about, being called the B word or anything like that because her story, like, took a whole nother turn, right? It like her story, like, went way left and got real serious, right? About the trauma that she faced and that she dealt with um, when she was 17. Being raped and attacked and raped, and my God, she was stabbed. I mean, that I was glad that Megan put a disclaimer on that, and she warned us before they told that part of Victoria Jackson's story. So, but she's a survivor. She she really, really is. She's a survivor. She's very successful, and she's a survivor. But I thought it was awesome when she told her story about, how she did feel very insecure um, when they were going to shoot the I guess the commercials for her product. Um, and remember how she talked about the who was it, the cinematographer that she was talking about? Remember when she talked about that guy? Oh my God. I was like, ah, I like screamed. But she was talking about how, she was very, very insecure. And people knew on the first day of the shoot that she was going to be very nervous. And, she goes in and she meets everybody and she's saying hello to everybody. And they introduced her to the cinematographer. That's right, who was going to be doing the filming that day, and they were going to be doing the shooting, and I guess they were doing her her commercials for her makeup line. And so this guy was going to be doing the shooting, and he says hello to her, and he looks at her, and he goes, Victoria, I have photographs some of the most, I have photographed some of the most beautiful women in the world, and they are women with great beauty. And then there are women with great brains, and you are a woman with great brains. Wow, right? However, what I loved about Victoria was the fact that she said that she actually took that as a positive, right? She took that as a positive. She didn't let that bring her down. And again, that's what I love about Megan. She brings in women that have different points of view, right? Women with different points of view, right? Now, Victoria Jackson obviously had to be ambitious. Right? She had to be ambitious. I mean, look at her story. Look where she came from. She came from um, her upbringing. She grew up basically poor, right? She basically grew up poor, believed in her talent as a, well, let me take this back. She grew up poor. She was brutally attacked and raped in her own home. But she didn't let that define her or own her. She believed in her talent. She believed in herself, and she became a very successful makeup artist. Right? She was talking about how she even did um, album covers. She even did makeup for music artists for their album covers. She went from, just being a makeup artist to basically running a multi-million-dollar cosmetic line, right? And this is somebody who not only dealt with her own trauma, but she also had to deal with her own child becoming ill, and she was looking for a cure for that. And she put in, what? How much money was that? She put in like $70 million to help look for a cure for what her daughter was diagnosed with. So I mean, she had a very, very compelling story, and I really enjoyed listening to her story. And it sounded like to me that her and Megan are friends. Again, look at the type of caliber of people that Megan surrounds herself with. Oh my God, I was reading this. Miss Diane says the cinematographer was the bee in that story. So true. So true. But I mean, can you imagine putting in $70 million to fund research to find a cure for the disease that your daughter was diagnosed with? I mean, my God, right? That is awesome. I mean, has Victoria Jackson written a book? She needs to write a book, right? She needs to write a book. I don't think enough people know her story because, like I said, I never heard of her. I don't think enough people know her story. This is somebody, like I said, who grew up in a poor family, right? Somebody who was brutally attacked and raped and stabbed in her own home when she was a teenager, right? And then she goes on and becomes a successful makeup artist, and she launches her own cosmetic line. I read somewhere that today, right now, that she's worth over $1 billion. I don't know if that's true. Okay, so Black Queen says, yes, she did write a book. I got to read that book. I have got to read that book. I'm going to look that up right now because that's inspiring. Her story is a very inspiring story. Let's see, Victoria Jackson. And they always, when you put in her name, they always put up the other Victoria Jackson. They always put her up. Oh, she did write a book. I'm gonna have to get her book. She's what? She's written books. It's not just a book. Looks like she's written books. See, how did I miss this? Let's see. Victoria Jackson, Make Up Your Life. Power of Makeup. She wrote a book back in 2000. Let's see. I'm going to have to get her book. And I'll let you guys know if it's good or not. But obviously, it's a good book. I don't see how it wouldn't be a good book. Let's see. But yeah, I got to get that. I got to get everybody's book. How are you doing, Anastasia? Glad you can join us. Okay, so Cookies and Cream says Victoria Jackson had a powerful and emotional story. The only takeaway, the only thing the racist British press focused on was twisting Meghan's word about studying for the British citizen test. Oh, did Meghan talk about that during this episode or was it the last episode? I really honestly didn't hear them talk too much about this episode. I mean, I could be wrong because they're so fixated on Meghan. But the British press, they're idiots though, because these episodes, Meghan really has some great, intelligent guests on this podcast, and they're so disrespectful. The British press is so disrespectful to the guests, to these women who are telling their compelling stories. Right? You have women who are telling their compelling stories. And it's like, I don't think the British press realizes, or they just honestly don't care how they're disrespecting the women who are coming onto this podcast. Right? People who actually listen to the podcast, they're talking about what these women are saying. They're not talking about what Meghan's saying. They're talking about what the women are saying. And you know what's so funny? I could have swore I read somewhere where somebody in the trash ass British tabloid press put out a story saying that Meghan trying to get Mumbelina on her podcast. They doing too much. They doing too much. But Victoria Jackson, she told a compelling story. And I'm going to get her book. I'm going to get her book. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and talk about the People's Prince, the Global Prince, the Ginger Avenger, Prince Harry. Doesn't he look good, y'all? Doesn't he look so cute? Isn't he so cute? Isn't Has so cute? I like that picture of him. I do. I love that picture. He looks good.
If you don't clock this, I'm going to be so upset. I'm going to be so upset.
I'm already lost.
Okay, so I have a crown.
Yeah.
A gold crown.
Okay.
I placed it on my head, big period.
Prince Harry.
Yes! Ah! You made Prince Harry!
I did.
So you could have been Meghan. You could have been Meghan. If I saw Prince Harry, I'd lick him.
I'll tell you guys exclusively, he said he likes my eyelashes. He did. He likes The 20 mms, yeah. Yeah.
Harry's for the black girls, you know.
Yeah, I think he's one of us.
He's one
Period.
of us. He's one of us. The thing is, yeah, it's like if I saw Prince Harry, obviously, like no disrespect, but I'd lick him.
Did you guys see that? When I saw that, I screamed. The way I screamed and cackled, I thought that was awesome. But I saw that on Twitter, and apparently it's called the red carpet treatment with Nella Rose. Okay, and obviously they're British, but those of you, well, I highly doubt there's anybody in the from the UK that's in the chat right now because it's so late. But apparently, Nella Rose, she I guess she has. I'm not too sure if this is a podcast or if this is a TV show that she does. But they were talking about Prince Harry. I thought that was great. But Prince Harry. So there was some news that came out about Travelist. Did you guys hear the news? And sometimes I feel like we don't pay enough attention to Travelist. What about you guys? Sometimes I feel like we don't pay enough attention to it because there's constant news coming out about Travelist, right? There's a lot of news, not a lot, but you know what I mean. Like there be news that be dropping about Travelist, and I don't think Squatties as a whole we pay enough attention to it because this company is doing big things. I mean, it really, really is. It's doing big things. Yes, Marshall, she did say that though. She did say that she would look them. I was trying to avoid that, but she did say that. Okay. She did say that. Yes, she did. That's why I said the way I screamed and the way I cackled when she said that, I was like, oh my God. But like I was saying, sometimes I feel like we don't pay enough attention because this company right here is growing and growing and growing and growing. Right? There's always some big news about Travelist. And there's always some company or somebody else, some other agency, not somebody else, but some other agency, some other big time company that is joining. But the news came out that the Travelist Coalition welcomes a new partner. They have a new partner, right? And the new partner is Travelport. Okay, now I'm not even gonna try to sit here and lie. I've never heard of Travelport before, but apparently, Travelport production and technology leaders will now take an active role in collaborating with Travelist framework and implementing its methodology for emissions reporting in travel retailing. Now that's awesome. That is awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Oh, wow. Oh, thank you so much, Susie Q. Thank you for the donation. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. And Mercedes, you're not the only person. There are quite a few people who don't really understand what Travelist does and how it can help, us in regards to, carbon emissions or whatever the case may be. That's why I think just squatters as a whole really don't pay enough attention to it, and I'm definitely not going to sit here and act like that I know or really understand what the company does. It's like one day I'm gonna really dedicate my time and read what Travelist does, but just based off the top of my head, um, I believe that the company's goal overall is to reduce carbon emissions, and they want to make travel more sustainable, right? They want to help people like me and you who like to travel everywhere all across the world, um, make traveling more sustainable. Like they want us to make more sustainable choices when it comes to traveling and carbon emissions. So I'm just on the website, and on the website it does say, together our mission is to provide travelers with transparent, actionable information, empowering you to make more sustainable choices. Right? So they're saying that they are a source that's reliable, sustainability information about your travel options. Okay. So that's basically what it is. So I'm thinking that, say, like if you want to travel to Fiji, right? My goal next year is to take a vacation in Fiji, but I want to be conscious about, the environment, and I want to travel. I want to make a choice in regards to ethical and low carbon travel. Okay. So I would go to Travelist and see what options that I have. So that's what I'm thinking it's about. I will say this though, and Lord knows I love Prince Harry to death, but I will say this: I do think that they need to do a better job explaining exactly what the agency is all about and what they do. I do. I do agree that they the messaging isn't quite clear, in my opinion. Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Susie Q. We appreciate it. All right. So the next slide, we're talking about Prince Harry still, of course, because we love him so much. And there are people who want to lick him. There are people that want to lick him. Okay. So, and I think we've already known this news. I don't think this is new news, but we already knew that Prince Harry was going to donate millions of dollars to Santa Bali, right? We already knew that. And I'm talking about the million of dollars from the proceeds from his upcoming memoirs, Spare, right? But news came out that he was also going to donate more money to Well Child, right? He was going to donate more money to Well Child. That he was going to donate $300,000 to Well Child. And we all know that Prince Harry could not attend the Well Child Awards because his grandmother kicked the bucket. Okay. All right. Next slide. So I put this up because I'm like, people just need to put some respect on Prince Harry's name. Just put some respect on Prince Harry's name. I mean, he gets a lot of respect. He has a lot of respect all throughout the world. He does. But put some respect on Prince Harry's name. That's all I'm saying. Put some respect on his name. This man is doing big things. He's doing big things out here in these streets. I mean, he really is. He's got this memoirs coming out. Spare, which is a genius name. It's a genius title for a book. He's owning it. He's taking the power out of that word. Right? I mean, he's doing big things. He's giving money away to charities. He's growing his companies. He's still making speeches, and he's with Better Up. He's still working. He still got a job. A lot of people don't forget that Prince Harry got a job. He got a this man got a job. He worked for Better Up. Put some respect on Prince Harry's name. This man is doing big things. And he's doing it on his own terms. I love this dude. I love Prince Harry. Put some respect on his name. That's all I'm saying. All right. So Meghan, those of you who I'm pretty sure know that it was a huge week here in these United States of America. It was the midterm elections, November 8th, and it's November 11th, and we're still counting votes. To me, that's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing that we're still counting votes. I think it's a beautiful thing that we still don't know which party controls the House of Representatives, and we still don't know which party controls the Senate. That's democracy. To me, that's American democracy all day long, baby. That is American democracy at its finest right there. Everybody exercise, well, I should say everybody, but a lot of people exercise their right to vote. And they're saying that voting it just broke records. Broke records. There are some areas where the voting percentages went up 700%. That is American democracy at its finest. And I'm straight up feeling the fact that these races are so close. I think that's great. I think it's great that these races are so close. I do. I think it's great. I think it's great when you see that you got a Democrat who's got 49.2% of the vote, and you got a Republican who's got 48.7% of the vote. I have no problems with that. I don't. Because that tells me, okay, let me back this up. I think it's great when you see like a governor, like let's say a Republican governor or a Democratic governor, or I should say when you have a governor and a Democratic governor win their governor's races, right? Like you got Brian Kemp, who won the governor's race in Georgia, which I knew he was. Okay, Georgia is my next door neighbor. I knew Brian Kemp was going to win that. Okay. I'm not saying I wanted him to win. I'm just saying I knew he was going to win. So you got Brian Kemp, who won the governor's race in Georgia, right? But then you got Gretchen Whitmer, who won the governor's race in Michigan. That's a beautiful thing. I have no problems with that. But my point is, right, you got Brian Kemp, who won the governor's race in Georgia. However, the Senate race between Warnock and Walker is undecided. They're still counting votes. Well, I take that back. They're not still counting votes. They've finished counting the vote, but neither one of them hit 50%, so they have to do a runoff. I think that's a beautiful thing. I have no problems with that. And the reason why I'm saying that is because people are not just walking into the booth doing a straight ticket vote. That's the point I'm trying to make, right? People are not just walking into the booth doing straight ticket vote. They're not doing all Republican. They're not doing all Democrat. You got some people who voted for Brian Kemp, and they went ahead and voted for Warnock. They were like, "Oh hell no, I can't deal with big dummy here, Walker." Okay, so but anyway, I don't want to ramble too much about this. But when I see that these Senate races and some of these House races are so close and so razor thin, to me, that's American democracy. The American people are speaking. They're saying I may vote for a Democrat here and I may vote for a Republican here. I'm not going straight ticket. Okay. So honestly, I have no problems with that. But back to our girl Megan. Let me wrap this up here. Back to our girl Megan. She voted. She, says it with her whole chest. I voted today. Can you imagine being in Montecito at the voting booth and you see Megan walk in? So, next slide. Now, I was shocked about this, okay? I went ahead and looked up, right, to see which party represents Montecito, okay? The Santa Barbara area, Santa Barbara County, okay? Montecito is in Santa Barbara County. And I was shocked. I honestly was. I did not expect this at all. I just wanted to see the name, okay, of who represented Montecito, that part of Santa Barbara County. And to my shock and surprise, they're all Democrats. I was shocked about that. I really was, because Montecito is a very upscale community, right? It's not just rich people that live in Montecito. There are people of wealth that live in Montecito. Okay? People of wealth live in Montecito. And I was thinking the only Democrats that are probably there are Oprah, Ellen, and Megan. You know what I'm saying? But I was dead wrong. No, Megan is represented by Democrats. Okay, the state senator is a Democrat. Okay, a Democrat. Her name is Monique Limon. She spells her last name Limon. Democrat. Okay, their assembly member is a Democrat. Steve Bennett. Okay, I'm like, what? Really? And their U.S. representative is Salud Carbajal. I know I'm not saying that last name right. Carbagal. They're all Democrats. That's awesome. That is awesome. So that's what I get. That's what I get for prejudging people, right? That's what I get for assuming. But yeah, Megan is, she's represented by Democrats in that area. So that's what I get for assuming things. You guys know I was raised in California, and I go to California every year. I was raised in California, and California flip-flops. California flip-flops. We've had Democratic governors and we've had Republican governors. Okay. And a lot of people don't realize this, but there are more than enough Republicans that live in California. There are more than enough Republicans that live in California. So I thought that was awesome to see. All right, next slide. All right. So it's Veterans Day, right? It's Veterans Day. Once again, happy Veterans Day to everybody in the chat who is a veteran, or if you have a family member that is serving or has served in the past, happy Veterans Day to everybody. So Archwell is celebrating Veterans Day, and statement they have is on this Veterans Day and Remembrance Day, we honor service members across the world. These brave men and women, as well as their families, have made tremendous sacrifices and embody duty and service. Right? Duty and service. That's what it's all about. Service is universal. And there's a picture right there. That's Harry and Meghan. And that is the honor guard. And that was at Oh, I had a brain freeze. That was at the Invictus Games. So that's awesome. That is awesome. Next slide. And of course, Prince Harry, you're here in America, so happy Veterans Day to you as well as Remembrance Day. Um, so there he is. There he is again. All right, guys. So we have come to an end to this podcast, but I wanted to talk about this real quick. I wasn't too sure if I really wanted to talk about this because I can't stand this magazine, but you know what? I'm going to go ahead and, talk about it because they did give Megan her flowers. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the live podcast. So apparently, Hello Magazine, which, I've never really paid attention to Hello Magazine, but to me, it's a trash magazine, in my opinion. I think Royal, I don't know if she's a reporter or whatever she is. Is it Emily Nash that runs this magazine? But for whatever reasons, they decided to put Megan on the kind list. Okay. So I guess the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I do like Jessica Yellen. Okay. And Jessica Yellen, she's about substance. Um, and they did reach out to Megan. Not Megan, I'm sorry. They did reach out to Jessica. And, she had some very kind words to say about Megan. So this is what Jessica said. Jessica Yellen, to me, she is a reporter about substance. She's a political reporter. I used to watch her when she was on CNN. And in my opinion, she's about substance. She's not about drama. She's not going to say something about somebody if she really honestly doesn't believe that it's true. But Jessica Yellen, political journalist, and she's the founder of News Not Noise. Remember, Jessica Yellen, she interviewed Megan. What was that about? It had something to do with Gloria Steinem. But anyway, so Jessica Yellen says, one thing that stands out for me about Megan is that her kindness is action orientated. Whether she is lending her time to mentorship, investing in women-owned businesses, or raising her voice for women's rights, she looks to answer the question, what can we do about it? Okay. So, those are good words. And that's true. Next slide. And they also reached out to Hannah Mendoza, who's co-founder and she's CEO of Clever Blends. I need to order me some more because it's getting cold and I ran out. So I need to order me some more. But Hannah Mendoza, she says that Megan has the unique ability to constantly remind me of my potential using strength and softness in equal measure. As a first-time female entrepreneur, when she told me with unwavering confidence, I believe in you and I believe in what you're building, it became something I could reach for when in moments the hills feel too big to climb. So I thought that was awesome too. So like I said, I really don't like using any type of quotes from Hello Magazine. I feel like they're trying to lure us in to pay attention to their magazine because this right here is suspicious. No disrespect to Hannah Mendoza or Jessica Yellen, but Hello Magazine, like really? This is fishy. Why all of a sudden they want to be positive about Megan and do this, put her on this list is suspicious because then tomorrow they'll have Megan on the cover of their magazine saying how her and Prince Harry don't live together. You know what I'm saying? When we all know that them airheads don't live together. They don't. Them airheads do not live together. But anyway, so we've come to an end to this podcast. Before we go, I'm going to go ahead and look and see what you guys are talking about in the chat because it's getting late again. Yes, yes, yes. The American election, our midterm election, um, it made me feel a little better about this country. I'm just reading the comments. There's a lot of comments in the chat about the midterm elections that happen here in America. It made me feel a little more better about this country because results are showing that Republicans are finally, I shouldn't say finally, but they're starting to um, get out of their Trump syndrome, right? Starting, barely. There weren't too many Trumpsters that won, but it made me feel a little better. But one thing I will say though, the Democratic Party has got to do better messaging. Got to do it. You got to do better messaging. Um, Sleepy Joe is not that sleepy. He has done a lot of things, and they were not talking about the numerous things that he has done. Okay. They're just not talking about the Democratic messaging. The Democratic messaging is not good. It's not. They should be out there pumping their chests, talking about what Sleepy Joe has done. He's sleepy, but he ain't sleep. I love our clapback president. I love him. He is a clapback president. All right. I agree. Hello, they looking for viewers. Hello Magazine is looking for viewers. I don't trust them. I'm glad that they did that story. I just wish it was somebody. I love the story about Megan, but I just wish another magazine had done it. Not Hello. Oh, really? The British press. This is from Debbie. The British press accused Meghan of breaking royal protocol by displaying "I voted" sticker. They need to sit down somewhere. Girl, they need to have several seats and sit all the way down and don't get back up. Now she's royal. Now she's royal. You know, I hate to bring these airheads up, but you know what's crazy and what to me is not a good look at all? And you know, they might get booed. They might. Because this American climate right now is just so unpredictable. You know what I'm saying? But it's just crazy to me how the airheads are going to go to Boston when that's basically where the American Revolution started against the British. They never heard of the Boston Tea Party? Like, hello? Like, really? Like, I mean, that's just, anyway. And, you know, during that time of year, it's going to be snowing. I hope they get snowed the hell out. That should be funny as hell. But yeah, that just don't make no sense. Like, she's not a working royal anymore. But to me, it just goes to show how much they want her back. They want her back, y'all. You guys know that they want her back. Yes, hello, yes, hello. Magazine is cloud chasing, like Megyn Kelly. She got quiet. Uh, oh, so you agree, Sherry? Yeah. The Yeah, the Democratic Party, they need to fix that messaging. They need to fix it because he did a lot of things. He did a lot of things um, with bipartisan. Um, a lot of things that he did were bipartisan. A lot of stuff that he got accomplished were because Republicans voted with him or voted with Democrats. So they need to do better messaging. And how about our girl Gretchen Whitmer, the governor of Michigan? She won re-election. The whole. How about Michigan? Anybody in the chat from Michigan? Their whole House of Representatives and Senate um, went Democratic. It's like what? Remember them fools was going to kidnap the governor of Michigan? Remember that? And now this chick don't want re-election and don't flip the whole state blue. She need a medal of honor or something. Sleepy Joe Brandon, he need to do something for the governor of Michigan now. She need he need to give her flowers. Yes, Boston is very racist, very very racist. Maybe that's why they went to Boston. They feel comfortable there. All right. All right, guys, it's getting late. Actually, it is late. We're going to go ahead and end this podcast. I want to say thank you to everybody who made donations this evening. Appreciate it. Sorry about the sound, guys. I am so sorry that there were parts where I had no sound and I was just talking. I hate to blame StreamYard, but I don't know why the sound all of a sudden is going in and out. But I'll definitely get in contact with StreamYard and see if that's the case. Again, thank you for listening tonight. I hope you guys enjoy tonight's live podcast of Success Talk. Our faves, Has and Meg, they're doing big things. They're continuing to walk the course and they're continuing to stay in their lane and they're continuing to do them, which we love them for. Anybody in the chat watching The Crown? I have to say, like the first 2 episodes for me were a big snooze fest. I fell asleep. Okay, for me, it's starting to pick up with the Fayeds, Dodi Fayed and his father. To me, it's starting to pick up, but I don't know. To me, this season so far, for me, from what I've seen, because I don't want to give anything away, to me, it's really not that good. Maybe y'all agree, don't agree, but to me, it's really not that good. But anyway, we'll talk about The Crown more later on. So, Megan, Duchess of Advocacy World Podcast. If you are not a subscriber, please hit the subscribe button, please. Please hit the thumbs up button before you go. Megan, Duchess of Advocacy World Podcast. You can follow us on Instagram. You can follow us on Twitter. You can follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And of course, like I said, you can follow us on YouTube. And if you want to, you can become a channel member. I promise you this weekend, I have dedicated some time to do my random thoughts with Special K Thoughts with our channel members, well, for our channel members. And we have great things coming up. Of course, we got Prince Harry's memoirs, which is coming out January 10th. Can't wait for that. And I have a feeling in his memoirs, he is really not going to be talking about them people. I mean, Omid basically let it out the bag, right? That the book is really honestly not about them people. So I can't wait for Prince Harry's memoirs to come out. Meghan, she's got her evening with Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, for the, what was it? The Women's Fund of Central Indianapolis. So look forward to that. I think that's November 29th, right? So, in regards to that, I'm not even too sure if we're going to see anything, right? I mean, them people paid what was it, $5,000 per table? So I highly doubt that they're going to have like a live news feed or anything like that. So we'll probably see pictures, which is fine, And of course, we have Archwell being honored by the Kennedy family for the Ripple of Hope Award. So we got some big things coming up, guys. Some huge, big things. And of course, we've got another episode of Archetypes coming up next Tuesday with, as ever, I'm Megan the Feminist. All right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Let's see. Feed the chickens. We got to feed the chickens. Please don't forget to hydrate. Right? Service is universal. My husband oh, wait a minute. I was reading the chat. Really? There's $10,000 tables? And I heard that sold out already. But anyway, like we were saying, don't forget to feed the chickens. My husband, no bad energy. Hydrate, right? Hydrate. Everybody stay safe, right? And service is universal. All right, good night, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, and I will see you guys soon. Good night.